up, everybody? Scuffy here, and I awoke to glorious tidings and good news this morning. First off, the previous event ended. We are now on the Flashback Battle of Zeramund, which is actually pretty interesting because I think Typhon is a loyalist choice here in this event, and the pricing here is pretty interesting. Pricing here is Desolated Ground. Opponent loses 1 energy, which is for 4 energy. This is a Saboteur Squad light. It doesn't provide you with a troop body, but it gives you the same effect, and it's a neutral. That's a problem. That could very well lead to a lot of not good things for the game. Because where we're currently at this state, ramp decks are on the verge of being out of hand. Ramp and wall decks. I have nothing against a ramp deck, but when that is 50% of the game, that's a problem. Insurgent Leader is also really cool looking. I like it's got a rally and a backlash put in play, 2 unsettled populace, and it's got potential for a few different decks and a few different builds, so I like that. That's cool. But all that aside, I got from my crate, I got this nifty little guy. I got Luther. Check. Well, speaking of which, really quick, Luther is the treat that I'm sharing you. But take a look at this event crate that I got. That is the event crate. I got both of those, and I was like, all right, well, that's interesting. Both of the guys who would end up being mortal enemies. One of those guys is not like the other. So I've got Luther now. So I'm excited to get Luther. That's cool. I thought that was great news. I'm looking forward to it. It's different. I played him in the event a few times. I really enjoy Zahariel, and I've had some fun with Cypher, and I've got deck lists coming for those at some point, maybe before the end of the year, especially following the news that we got here, because not only did we get Luther, but then I went on, and lo and behold, we've got ourselves a patch update that took place as well, activating with this new event. And that's the exciting news, ladies and gentlemen, the patch update, because this is a very interesting update for the Defenders of Caliban. I'm going to be taking a look at my other screen here, kind of reading off the information as well to go with that. But first off, the big thing here to keep in mind, we've got 2 things. One of them really isn't a big thing, but it's important to note, is that there is now a keyword, a new symbol for end of turn, which I've asked for so many times. There's a lot of cards like Jubok that provide a card or do something at the end of your turn, and there was never a keyword for that. A long time ago, the term relentless, the keyword relentless, just used to be at the start of your turn, and then they gave it a keyword. They never gave one to the end of your turn. Well, now they finally do. It's resolution. It works the same way as it always has, but it's resolution. It's at the end of your turn. Copy a card in the enemy. So that's just a nice little tidy thing. But the big thing for me is that duplicitous, the duplicitous trait no longer is removed when a unit uses an ability. And that was one thing that the duplicitous kind of was like a makeshift stealth, as you were, because like you could have a troop that is in stealth and they use their ability and they still remain in stealth. Duplicitous, that was never the case. Once they use their ability, they pop. That's no longer the case. This is a big change to duplicitous all around, which will affect the neutral duplicitous cards as well. That makes these little Caliban Jaegers potentially stay out longer. Potentially. I mean, they can still easily be cleared by a frag grenade or by informant network or something similar. But if you've got a warlord who has like Argol Tal or Tarek, I'm picking a bunch of warlords who most people don't play, but they exist and they're out there. Even if you're just using somebody like Grieger or, Nassau, Korax can't pick them off. I mean, that's nice. That's actually a really nice pump to the mechanic of the Duplicitous Mechanic. So that was cool. There was a couple other little patch notes in here that are important to note with regards to triggering Survivor. That now counts as healing for a Forbidden Quest, which was cool because before that wasn't the case. When I say Forbidden Quest, we're talking, of course, about the Dark Angels forbidden secret, and then you take the quest, heal your warlord 5 times. Now if you trigger Survivor with a Manifest Destiny, that's going to count as a healing option, so that's cool. There's a couple little fixes here with regards to some bugs for damage effects, and the warlord, when you're facing off against a knight player, and it would always show the same knight and pilot. That has been fixed now, so we're actually going to see who it is that we're actually facing, who the pilot is, and what the chassis is. So that's a nice little cosmetic fix. But no, we're not done. The meat and potatoes of the patch. The meat and potatoes of the important update here, balance updates, Defenders of Caliban. It's 100% Defenders of Caliban, and there are some nice changes. I'm going to go through all of them here. We're going to go through them each card as far as what's been affected, how it's been affected, talk about it a little bit, give you some initial thoughts, and we'll go from there. So, first off, the counterattack. Counterattack got changed. It got cost from 1 to 0. Same ability. That's nice. That's an improvement. There's nothing to say here. We didn't change anything to it. The counterattack's the same. It just is free now. Okay. All right. There's nothing wrong with that, especially if you've got cards like Pride of Caliban and you pick up that counterattack, and then you just start dropping infantry troops, and you've got a sneak attack on your warlord, and he sneaks attacks. That makes it very easy to pick up that combo. It makes it easy though for like Zahariel. I often found in some of my games that 1 energy was just a smidge off, and now that's not so much of a concern. So I like that. But that's not the only thing changing to Zahariel. And while we're talking about him, his terror sight has also changed. Now that's something to note, and it's actually pros and cons, but I think the pros outweigh the cons here. This ability, your warlord gains this turn, destroy any troop attacked. That's powerful, because the Defenders of Caliban do not have a hard removal. Now, he loses the 1 energy your warlord gains can act again, right? So, which is unfortunate, because there were some games that you could pump out 2 Astartes recruits. Or if you had the counterattack on you, you could use Terror Sight, and that would be 2 energies worth to do 2 sneak attacks. Okay, I mean, there's a give and take, there's a trade there. So that's unfortunate. You lose that ability to put out an extra troop or do an extra attack. But Terror Sight is hard removal. It's a very affordable 1-turn hard removal, and sometimes 1 turn is all you need. But please note this. Take this into consideration. Your warlord gains this turn, destroy any troop attack, not his next attack. So you've got to use it in the turn that you use it. But what if you've got ways to act again? And then he can destroy numerous troops. Now, granted, Zahariel certainly is a low health troop. He's a 30 health warlord. So he's a fragile state. You're not going to be pulling a Vulcan and running face first into a bunch of 8-drop frontline units. That just isn't going to work. That's not too smart. But if you find a way to get counterattack, or you pick up, some of those tactics from the Night Lords via Jubok Starside or Kai's Lane or something like that, and you apply Terror Sight, or you pick up a Raven's Talon and you apply Terror Sight, that turn could be a damaging turn. On top of that, as I said, it's hard removal, and the Defenders of Caliban, it's not that they don't have hard removal. They have a hard removal option, but it is a very sticky pickle. So I think that this is actually a very nice improvement. I liked the old Terror Sight. I had no complaints about it, but I like this, and I understand why they changed it following the 0 attack counterattack, the 0 energy cost counterattack. So it's the best of both worlds. And if you have given yourself the counterattack, and you have Pride of Caliban, and you activate the Terror Sight, you have just triggered yourself an entire board. That is damaging. That is huge. That is huge. I love it. And I'm having fun with Zahariel already, so this just makes it better. Then Alajos squad. I believe I'm pronouncing that correctly. Alajos squad. Duplicitous But now they gained Rally put in play when Caliban Jaeger. Before they were just straight a 3-2 Duplicitous. Now they've got a Rally effect, so you're getting an additional Jaeger. Cool. All right. As we've seen with this faction as a whole so far, Jaegers, lots of ways to get Jaegers. You're going to have lots of options to get Jaegers. That's good. You need more of them? Sure. How about 3 energy for 2 troops that are Jaegers? Okay. Sure. Master Romuel. Master Romuel got changed to friendly troops have +2/+0. Before it was friendly adjacent troops. Now this guy makes all of your troops +2/+0. Which is, I mean, what's not to like about that? You throw him down there late game behind 2 or 3 troops. He doesn't have to be placed appropriately. Especially, I would find in some games what would be problematic is the way that troops would be generated because of Zahariel's ability or because of the Rhino, the Obsidian 02 Rhino. That it would be hard to put Romuel where he would stay in the middle of 2 troops, and sometimes he'd shift over. So I don't have to worry about that anymore. That's a buff. It's an undisputed buff. That's an awesome change. I like it. You can throw him down at the far end if you really want to. Put him next to your Warlord if you want to. There's nothing to worry about unless you're looking to maneuver around Cleave or something like that. That's a strong card. So yeah, dig it. Knight Commander. Knight Commander gets his ability lowered to 0 instead of having his ability cost 1, or actually cost 2 previously. Okay, and he gets to act again. So basically, this guy is going to transform all of your starties that he needs to into Magron Veterans. And again, Magron Veterans are these shiny, beefy guys. Nice artwork, 4/6s, stalwart, battle honor, duplicitous. These guys are just like, can you trust them? Can you trust these guys? I don't know. You're about to find out. That's what he does, and then he attacks. Now, Knight Commander is the only Defenders of Caliban card at this point that I don't have, and I'm a little miffed that I don't. But I'll pick this guy up when he's in the shop. I'll find a way. I'll make it work. At the very least, I can get him from Alderac, right? Alderac. That's where I'll get him from. Local Uprising. Now, this got changed. Big difference. Before, this was all of your troops with attack 2 or less gain sneak attack. That's no longer the case. You just get 2 Caliban Jaegers. They don't even have flank. You're just putting 2 Jaegers into play. It's a way to get troops. It's a way to get troops with Duplicitous. It's a way to work with Pride of Caliban. It has options. I think especially when we see the 4th Warlord added, especially if it's Astalin. I hope it's Astalin. I don't like Astalin as a character, but I think he's a fit for 4th Warlord, and that card will work really well with him. Really well. So, yeah. I'll take it. That's not a bad change. I wasn't using this card before. I'm not going to use it now right just yet, but it has a spot. Uncertain Allegiance. Now this card was lowered in cost by 1. This used to cost 2, now it costs 1. And I was debating on this right here because this gives Duplicitous to a friendly unit until your next turn and you draw a card. Okay. So just a temporary Duplicitous. I liked it for 2 energy at the time because it was okay. It worked. I was, especially with Zahariel, I'd pump up some Magron Veterans and I'd keep them Duplicitous and I'd do a lot of damage. But then I thought about, wait a minute, we just got this card, Underhive Tunnels, which is 0. It gives Duplicitous to a friendly infantry permanently. Now, that up until today, that didn't mean much because as soon as that troop acted, used an ability, or attacked, this Duplicitous would go away. But with the change to Duplicitous now, I can have it on a troop that is going to use an ability. And now they can't be targeted by my opponent's Warlord. Oh. So I don't have to worry about this guy getting sniped by Gabriel Santar or Loken or Abaddon, any 2 damage dealing Warlord, right? Or I could throw it on. How about good old fashioned Discipline Master, or the guy who's got an even fancier hat, Duke Mortimer, and have him just sit there with his ability and just use that as board control. Now, you could use Duke for a couple other things, but that's just counting the Imperial Army stuff, right? That's not counting the chaos stuff. That's not counting my little the little lotus blossom Shawasan, right? Plop her down, 2 energy. She sticks on. Now she's duplicitous. Your opponent can't do anything about it, and for 2 turns you pump her up with marks of chaos, and then you have yourself a demon prince. It's a little long way to go about it, but that change to duplicitous is a big difference. Now, the only upside, as far as I could figure, why this card should cost 1 energy is to draw a card. But then I thought about it, and it's actually, it gives it to a friendly unit until your next turn. So that is important to note. And I wasn't looking at that before. I think I had missed that because I was just often putting it on a troop just out of habit to keep that troop alive. I can put this on an Astartes, I can put this on a vehicle, or I can put this on a warlord. And I hadn't thought about that up until today with the change and really weighing the thing in here. So having Uncertain Allegiance is not, it's not precognition by any means, but it can be valuable and potent in the right game and the right matchup. Throwing down an Uncertain Allegiance on your warlord when you're facing a Demon Prince Angron or a Leman Russ who is ready to unload and unleash his pack attack, throws off that whole thing. He can't do anything about it with his warlord. He can take out your guys, sure, left and right, and he can use his troops, sure, but he can't use his warlord. And in those certain builds, that's his bread and butter. So this has got value, and I think for the 1 energy cost, it's still worth including up. Maybe just as a one-of, because it's versatile. It can go on any unit. I like that. I like that. So I was already had 1 as a 2 cost, but I'm going to keep it as a 1 cost. And now that I've got that in my mind too, I'm gonna be sure to apply that. On that hand, on the other hand, I am going to be working on something to utilize Underhive tunnels now with the new changes to Duplicitous. So you can expect to see that. Expect to see that very soon, my friends. And then we've got changes to Covenant of Death. Now, Covenant of Death will always be. Somewhere out there, the Hitman Heart is giving me a... he's putting me in the sharpshooter. The Covenant of Death here, this has got lowered by 1. Its same ability hasn't changed. It's now 5 energy, and I think that's reasonable given how hard it is to execute. You've got to have multiple troops out to really get massive value at it, and on top of that you lose all your troops. Someone brought it up, and I think it's a valuable point now with local Uprising at 7 energy. Essentially you can put in play 2 Jaegers, play the Covenant of Death, and remove 2 random enemy troops, maybe even more if you already have existing troops. So that's something to keep in mind. It's not bad. I think at 5 energy it's a little bit better, because 6 energy I have found is kind of a crucial turn, whether it's through abilities with the warlords or with troops that you want to drop. So you don't want to play hard removal, and it's harder to even combo dropping troops and then playing Covenant of Death at higher energy. So that 5 energy is a sweet spot. I like it. It's not fantastic. Again, I'm going to take Terrorsight any day over Covenant of Death, and now thanks to Terrorsight, I don't have to take Covenant of Death. Thank you, Terrorsight. And last but not least, and this is deadly, Behind Enemy Lines has been lowered by 1 energy. Why did they do this? I don't know. I'm not going to complain. I'm just asking for a friend. That friend is me. This is a power. If anybody has ever had a full board Behind Enemy Lines used on them, it is, it's devastating, right? We're talking, 14 damage to the entire board on your opponent's side. You lose all your troops, but typically you've won the game or you've sealed the game at that point. And it being 8 energy now means that you can use it along with cards like Drill Sight and do more. Or maybe you just want to do a local Uprising at 10 energy and then Behind Enemy Lines. and now you're dealing 6 damage across the board. If you're playing behind enemy lines in Cypher, you might as well have 2 local Uprisings. Or with the changes now to Duplicitous, I can throw down a Caliban Knight, have him sit out there against certain warlords and just pump out Jaegers. And then boom, behind enemy lines and blow things away. There's a lot that these changes open up. That I don't think it's complete. I do think that Luther didn't get anything, and I think that he needs something. He doesn't quite feel there yet, and I think down the road we'll see some warlord changes. We saw it with many factions who've had their warlords adjusted. Typically, they do warlord adjustments in groups of warlords and not necessarily tied to the factions. Sometimes we get them with the factions, but Luther could be updated in 2 weeks. He could be updated in 2 months. It's hard to say. I do think he's going to get something down the road because he doesn't have a Reckoning, he doesn't have a Whispers, he doesn't have a special card, he doesn't have a passive, and I think he needs a passive. Even if he just had a passive, infantry you put into play, gain +0/+1. I think that would be solid. It would be just a smidge, but it would be important, and it would combo well within the faction. I expect that to come at some point down the road, but for now, we have these changes here, these updates, and overall, I like it. I like it. I don't think there's anything that I dislike. The Defenders of Caliban, I've played probably just as about, I don't know. Yeah, I'd say I've played a good share. I played a pretty good share of them, and now that I've got Luther, I can throw more guys in that. I'm feeling pretty good about these guys. I liked them already. I really enjoy playing Zahariel. I'm really looking forward to diving into it again. I think all these changes are going to help with that, with the small nuances that they weren't quite there or they lacked a little something. Just gives them a little bit of edge. The change to Duplicitous is super important. So overall, solid update. Thumbs up from me. I'm digging it. And that's the big news. That's the big news. That's the balance patch updates, guys, for today, December 18th. I'm just getting this done late in the day because wake up, eat breakfast, go to work, grind, get home. It's the holiday time. What are you doing at the holiday time? You're shopping. You're doing dinner. You're doing family stuff. And now it's time for me to do my Horus Heresy Legions family stuff. And here I am doing that with you guys. Now, with all that said and done, we've got some stuff going on this weekend. If you are up for it, to date notice, December 20th, 12/20, 2020 is the last Bar Night Legions. We're going to be doing that. So hit me up if you want to get a link on the Discord, sign up on Challenge. And it's just a fun, casual tournament. And we are doing the one-of-a-kind format this particular week, which is it's a special little thing where every card in your deck, that's the actual deck. Hey, I'm not going to show my one-of-a-kind decks just yet. Don't you scout me. No scouting. Every card in your deck has to be one copy, and you're also only allowed to have one legendary in your deck. If it's your warlord, that's it. There's no legendaries. So we're trying to think different things, trying to make it fun. I'm looking forward to trying to play that. But if that sounds up your alley, if that's something you want to try, let me know. Get in touch with me on Reddit, get in touch with the Discord, or leave in the comments below, and I'll kind of send you the link as far as where you can sign up for that. You do need to be on Discord to match up with us, though, so that is important. We do some Vox chat. Vox chat's not required, but in terms of pairing who's playing who, you kind of have to be on Discord for that. So, also, at the end of this year, I've got coming up here the year in review. We're going to be taking a look back here. Gone but not forgotten, things to take a look at. It's been a heck of a year, 2020 has. So I'm definitely going to be doing a review on that and just a general flashback. Where have we come? What have we gained? And then obviously we've got card by cards with the Orphans of War. I'm going to be doing deck lists. Nemiel, Zahariel is on there. Remus Vantanis, I don't think I've done a deck list yet for him. I've got a few warlords that I've been saving some juicy tidbits for. I got a lot to try to do in a little bit of time. I do want to get all the card by cards done by the end of this month. And that's kind of it. That's the balance patch updates, guys. If this video has been helpful, or you want to stay in touch with news information with regards to the game, card by cards, deck lists, tips, tricks, training cage strategies, whatever the case may be, I've got a whole bunch of videos on the channel. If you aren't already subscribed, please do subscribe, or refer to any other players that you might have in your lodge if you think that it's going to be helpful for them. Share the information. Have fun with the game. Be a good player in the community. You know, spread the love, spread the word, because without our players, we don't have a community, and then we don't have a game, and that would be rather sad. And I'm really enjoying where the game is at right now. Having a lot of fun with it in various degrees, and I understand there are some people who are having some hard times with the Knights. I understand that. We'll get through it. The Knights are not the darkest hour of this game. The Knights are actually pretty liberating once you dive into them, or you dive in ways to face off against them, and there are plenty of ways to face off. A lot of people right now are having success with Leman Russ. Desperate defense decks are doing strong. Again, ramp and wall decks are working just fine. So, guys, that's it for me. If you got any questions, thoughts on the patch, let me know. If you're diving into the Defenders of Caliban and you're having as much fun with them as I am, hit me up, let me know. No Skypoint Cypher Desperate Defense decks. We've seen those. I'm not Josh in Skypoint. He's in my lodge. That was a fun build. That was a fun, heyday. It was a good idea. A lot of people did that with the Asteroid Sanctuaries and run up to Desperate Defense. It's very vulnerable. I've beaten many of those. I've been beat by a few of them as well. But if you've got a different Defenders of Caliban deck idea that you want to share, let me know. Because we've seen that. We want to do new stuff here. We'll see. It's the holidays. If I don't hear from you before the end of next week, then Merry Christmas. Happy Chaos Time. All those good tidings of joy. And if you don't like tidings of joy, then you can turn your smile just like Nemiel's helmet there and look all sour about it. I don't have big enough teeth for that. I'm going to get my head punched off by the lion. It's late. Have I told you it's late? It's going on bedtime for me. It's bed 30. That's it, guys. Next time, we'll talk. We'll get some games in. We'll play some stuff. We'll do card by cards. Whatever it is, it doesn't matter. As long as we're having fun. Until then, keep playing Legions, and we'll talk to you later.